Good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good morning to you. It's morning daytime for you there, yeah.
Good
Hope
morning.
it's not too early for you. You're all in the East Coast?
Yes, we are in the East Coast, 10:30 a.m. New
And
York.
Okay,
beautiful sunny day.
okay,
Bill and I are on the West Coast, Gurudev.
okay.
Loving pranam at your divine lotus feet.
Mexico
Namaste.
time for us, Gurudev, 9:30 a.m.
Brazil,
can
thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you.
Gracias.
It's an honor to be with you, Guruji.
Definitely.
Yeah, Bill?
Yeah. Whenever we're ready, we can start. Whatever you.
Yeah, we are ready. You can go ahead.
Okay. Very good.
We are joined by people from how many countries? 100 plus countries. People have joined us now on this webinar. Welcome to everybody. And we have a very esteemed panel here. So Ronnie Newman, Bill, you would like to introduce everyone?
Yes, sure. So I'd like to introduce on the panel, we have Richard Martinez, and he is from the Pomona Unified School District and in Pomona, California. And he's the superintendent there. And we have Dr. Mario Santos, from the assistant superintendent from the Newark schools. And we have Elizabeth from the state of Mexico, who's been running the program that we're doing there in the state of Mexico, and Elizabeth Rivero. And then we have Manuelita Brito from Brazil. She's the superintendent of education of the state of Bahia in Brazil. And we have Kishore Kancham, the superintendent from the Freeport school system. And we have Sunny Anand, who is a professor at Stanford University.
Quiera hacerlo nomás en la ventana de usar. Pero tú puedes mutear el tuyo para que no te esté.
And then we have, I think that's everybody that I've said. I don't know. Have you heard me, or is this working?
Yes.
Now it's
Downs and civil unrest. It's causing enormous stress and anxiety from an unknown future. Mental health issues among youth and suicide rates are at an all-time high. Suffering is widespread and the economy is unknown for so many around the world. So the question is, how can educational systems move from trauma to transformation? Superintendents and the leaders of statewide education systems on the panel have seen the need and adopted this SKY curriculum, which is Sri Sri's program for schools in the Western Hemisphere, for as long as 12 years. They've been providing stress relief, uplifting human values, and implementing daily breathing for students and teachers in their schools. Each individual school community that's embraced SKY practices has seen improved academic performance, reduced violence and behavioral incidents, and improved the culture of their schools. This moment has provided an opportunity to shift priorities of education to meet the need of the times, putting key practices in place to calm the minds and focus, addressing emotional and economic stress, and building healthy, fulfilled human beings must be a priority of our schools. So we'd love to hear from each leader today. How do we move forward from here? So we'd like to first ask Sri if you could say some opening remarks, and then we can hear from each of the panelists. And
Yes, wonderful, Bill Herman. School work has been a big passion for you. For years, you have been working on this, and you have transformed so many teachers and so many students. So let me congratulate you for your excellent work in all over North and South America. Now,
thank you.
See, today what is needed is care for mental health. With this pandemic, what has happened is the outlet for energy, which was sports or which was going out, has all been shut for young people. So they had to confine in the four walls. That has frustrated them. As it is, there was quite big frustration. The youth today are swinging all over the world to two extremes. Either they are very aggressive. There is rise in domestic violence. People are just very violent and aggressive on one hand. On the other hand, they become very depressed. So from depression and aggression, we had to move away, our younger generation, even the middle-aged group also going in this direction. They had to be themselves. They had to become more sensible and sensitive. So this sensibility and sensitivity will come with when one is able to release the stress. Now, neither at home nor in school, anyone learns how to get rid of stress. We have too much to do and too little time and no energy, and stress is a normal thing. Again, emotional stress is on rise everywhere because of family situations, circumstances, peer pressure. The young minds are undergoing tremendous pressure, and this pressure built up in their for them to perform, for them to be somebody. All this has resulted in a lot of mental health issues. Around the world, this is happening. Suicide rates are so high, never before. 800,000 people have committed suicide in this year alone. So what is that we can do in this way when we have done work last 40 years to care for mental health of people? What we have discovered is that there is a connection between breath and the emotion, which nobody has been very vocal about it, except in the theater schools where they tell you to breathe differently when you have to express different emotions. Other than that, this aspect, the connection between breath and emotions, breath and state of mind has not been studied, has not been given any prominence. So we have seen that changing the patterns of breath, helping people to realize, to learn few techniques of meditation has made tremendous benefit, has been very beneficial, and it has impacted lives of millions around the world. Whether it's in the prison or in the war-torn areas where there has been trauma, or in areas where there has been natural calamities like tsunami or Catherine in USA. When we teach people the breathing exercises with little meditation and a little understanding about taking a broader look at one's own life rather than, confining themselves to the problem asking them to be part of solution and orienting them towards positive thinking has made a big difference, very big difference. I think today this is what we need to know. Do share with our young people, tell them, empower them with the techniques which would help them to manage their own mind. They don't have to run to a therapist, physiotherapist, psychotherapist, or psychologist so very often. They are able to be more mindful of their own head, their own mind, their own thoughts, and they're able to manage their own emotions. This is what we must aim at, I think. This can help people, like you teach people how to brush your teeth. This is teaching people how they can control the emotion, which sometimes they feel they cannot control, or the way they feel by aggression and depression and anger and all these negative emotions. I mean, you can't avoid negative emotions coming up in. But what you can teach people is how to manage their negative emotion and be in control of themselves. So when we teach this in the prisons, what people have said to me from all over the world, if Akash, I wish I had known this before, I would not have landed here where I am. So this is something we need to educate our people on, the mental, emotional balance. So I would welcome you to share. Just before that, one more thing I would like to share. I've been teaching yoga and meditation for last 40 years. 40 years back, when I would think has not been still taught as very important aspect of it, though a little bit, some schools do teach breathing exercise with yoga. Today, luckily, yoga has helped billions around the world for their well-being, wellness. So I think we need to really attend to our kids, give them a safe place, a place which is free from violence of all sorts. So with these remarks, I would I'll welcome you all to share your ideas.
Thank you. Thank you.
And let us continue. It may happen that my internet may go on and off from here because it's raining here in Bangalore. We got back this weather after a long time. Bangalore has become its weather has become very good after the COVID. So let's continue. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. So I'd like to have Dr. Mario Santos from Newark, New Jersey, if he could begin the discussion. He's going to take a few minutes and tell us about his impressions of this.
I love the whole idea in terms of mental hygiene. Just from my experience as a principal of a high school of 2,000 students for over a decade, and having the Sky do the Yes for Schools do this practice with my students, and seeing that transformation, I could only think that this practice it be core and be important, that it's not only, it's for the world, it's for humanity, it's for every human being needs to experience this and have this mental hygiene to be able to deal with anything in terms of personal life or what's happening in the world. The other thought I had, and as we are facing this social unrest here in the United States, and I can think of it, and every time we're living in a time where messages, where human beings, and in particular children, are bombarded with messages, a lot of negative messages. All they have to do is just turn on their phones, and they're carrying those negative messages. Just turn on the news. And so if the students or human beings are not equipped with this mental hygiene, we take it for granted that students are receiving a balance of positive messages and negative message. And unfortunately, they're not. And we see that daily in the media. And so it's very, very important that we transform the trauma that's existing, that human beings, and in particular in my case, obviously the high school students, but children in general, that they're equipped with this. So it's as paramount as academics. And Bill and I have had many, many conversations about that. Children need to be taught these tools. Back to you, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mario. If you had any questions that you'd like to ask Sri Sri at this time, is there anything that you'd like to ask him that he could respond to?
I'm sorry, are you talking to just me or the whole panel?
Yeah, to you. For each panelist, we were thinking that if you could, if you had a question that you'd like to ask Sri Sri now, then he could respond to it at the end of.
I mean, I could have 1,000 questions for Sri Sri. I'm just in awe speaking to Sri Sri. But I'd love a request is if when he comes to visit the United States, certainly would love for him to come and visit Newark. So a shameless plug that I would love Sri Sri to come and visit us in Newark. I think it would be amazing, and it would be just a beautiful time. So,
okay.
Thank you. I will. Sure.
Thank you.
Lovely.
So now I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Ozuna Rivera from the state of Mexico. She's the General Director of the School Coexistence Council of the Mexico State and with the Ministry of Education. And she's been bringing the program there for the last few years, and love to hear what she has to say about this situation we've been in.
Sorry, I'm going to translate to Spanish because she needs translation. So,
Yeah.
ahora me gustaría presentar a la licenciada Elizabeth Ozuna, que es la directora general del Consejo Convive en el Estado de México, de la Secretaría de Educación Pública, y que ha estado implementando los programas de IES para escuelas desde hace algunos años en el Estado. Me encantaría escuchar lo que tiene que decirnos.
Hola a todas, a todos. Antes que nada, un agradecimiento de parte del Gobierno del Estado de México, el licenciado Alfredo del Mazo Maza, gobernador constitucional del Estado, y del secretario de Educación, licenciado Alejandro Fernández Campillo. Es muy grato estas invitaciones para todos los integrantes y servidores públicos de la Secretaría de Educación, porque nos fortalece escuchar las experiencias que cada uno de ustedes va a compartir.
Okay.
Efectivamente,
please wait a little because I need to translate. Okay.
Okay.
So
Sí.
thank you so much for the invitation. I am this greeting comes from the Secretary of State, Licenciado Alfredo del Mazo, and from the Secretary of Education of Mexico State. We are very happy to be here with you because all these interactions strengthen our relationships and allow us to learn from the experience of other people and know how we can improve the situation of our own students.
Cuando llega la crisis de la pandemia a México a mediados de marzo, se suspenden las clases y la Secretaría de Educación tiene que tomar acciones y estrategias para resolver cómo vamos a continuar, cómo se va a resolver y cómo vamos a proteger el derecho a la educación en las niñas, niños y adolescentes.
So
la escuela...
When the COVID crisis got to Mexico in the middle of March, the Secretary in the Ministry of Education and the Secretary of State took all the measures to be aware of how to protect all the children and their right to be able to be educated.
La escuela se llevó a los hogares.
So we took the schools to the house, to the homes of the students.
A través del internet y de la televisión.
So through TV and internet.
De la televisión.
Yeah.
hemos compartido a padres de familia, docentes y el alumnado diferentes diplomados, diferentes talleres y conferencias para fortalecer las habilidades socioemocionales.
So we have shared different courses and trainings for the students and for the professors in order for them to learn how to improve the social emotional skills.
El secretario nos ha manifestado en varias ocasiones lo más importante ahorita son las emociones de las niñas, niños y adolescentes. Lo académico se puede resolver más adelante fortaleciendo concursos, talleres y reordenando toda la estructura para poder fortalecer a los niños académicamente después.
So the minister has specifically instructed all of us and tell us that the most important thing this moment is the emotions of the students, that we have to be fully aware to put all our attention there, and the academic thing can pass into another level, and that all we can recover of academic skills afterwards. But now the most important thing is the emotional state of the students.
Y es por ello que hoy es muy grato la invitación, porque hemos trabajado con el programa YES en el Estado de México, beneficiando a cerca de 67,000 docentes, alumnos y padres de familia, con la respiración SKY.
So now we are very happy to be here with this invitation, because through these years we have benefit with Yes for School program over to 67,000 students, teachers and parents in Mexico State.
Les dejo un saludo. La intención es seguir participando, seguir fortaleciendo la meditación, la respiración es fundamental en tiempos de crisis. Nos damos cuenta la fragilidad que tenemos en muchas acciones y muchas estrategias que no pensábamos que sucederían.
So again, I'm sending you a greeting. We are looking forward to continue with the meditation techniques, breathing techniques in all the schools that we can, because we have realized that it's so important to have these tools in moments of crisis that we never thought they were going to happen.
Es importante, por último, mencionar que tenemos una matrícula estudiantil de 4.8 millones de estudiantes. De ese tamaño es toda la estrategia que debemos de implementar en las y los niños, los adolescentes, los jóvenes y todos los docentes del gobierno del Estado de México.
At last, it is important for me to say that we have 4.8 million students in Mexico State, and that we want to reach them all the students, all the professors, all the parents with these techniques. ¿Tienes una pregunta, Liz? ¿Tienes una pregunta, Liz?
Yo, más que pregunta, a mí me gustaría invitarlo al Estado de México para que nos compartiera.
Please, Gurudev, I have an invitation to Mexico State for you to share.
Para que nos compartiera toda la experiencia que ha generado usted en todo el mundo.
For you to share with us your experiences in schools around the world.
Sure. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And we're very excited about the work you're doing in Mexico. It's been really amazing. I'd like to now introduce Dr. Kishore Kuncham. He's the superintendent at the Freeport schools in New York State on Long Island. And they've been doing the program there for about 10 years. And very excited to hear what you have to say, Kishore. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, and good morning, good evening, everyone. And I'm truly honored to be a part of this morning, evening. My namaskarams to to Guruji, and thanks to Art of Living International Association of Human Values, for your extraordinary work all the time, and in particular in times of crisis and now. And thanks to all the volunteers for the great work they are doing. And I know we are living in extremely challenging time for our communities, our nations, and we continue to fight against the COVID pandemic, and also finding ourselves here, not only in the United States, but across the globe, opposing endemic racism. But certainly across the globe, and certainly we all have to move with hope, optimism, and positivity, and certainly we want to transform crisis into opportunity to change public education for future, and for the current times too. And we all have to really create a near normal. And certainly, the pandemic has reinforced long-standing inequities, imbalances that have extended from race, ethnicity, cultural, and geographic divide. Things we have been addressing for quite some time, and now is the time to kind of amplify our work. I know health and safety is a top priority for our students and families, making sure they're fed properly, they have the meals, that's all being taken care. Certainly addressing other inequities relating to technology and continuing to making academic progress. They're all critical. I'll not be touching on those things, but just want to reiterate again everything that has been said. Social emotional learning is more critical than ever, and supporting coping and resilience among our students and adults is pivotal during the current times. I'm very happy to say that Freeport, we have been on this journey for the last many years, and right now this situation is allowing us to really amplify the work. Social emotional learning has been an anchor in our organization, and we have been promoting a whole child approach for many years. And the best way to help kids cope with crisis is to teach them to recognize, understand, and manage their emotions. As Gurudev said, an emotional education is critical at this point of time, and very much needed for our students to be successful at home, school, on the field, and outside the field. And allowing students to, and of course the adults, to be too smart about their feelings can help alleviate children's emotional stress, improve concentration, boost immune systems, and enhance brain development. All the research talks about. And certainly the skills that's given through International Association of Human Values has been amazing, and has provided extraordinary support during this last 15 weeks, and also for the past few years, and also going into the future, helping our students and staff with stress relieving techniques and strategies that have helped to succeed. And certainly inner transformation, inner management, inner engineering, changing our inner world certainly helps us to cope with the external world effectively. The four C's we talk about, the 21st century skills, collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking. All these skills come naturally through these practices. And we have been on this journey, and we really hope the crisis, the economic crisis, does not derail the plans, not only here in the district, but elsewhere to continue. So I must say the partnership with IA, HV, and bringing the breathing techniques, meditation to our schools, to our students, to our staff, to our families for the past many years has really helped us being better prepared now and also better prepared as we deal with the COVID phase one, the phase two for the next many months. So thank you for uh, the beautiful gift that has come to us. And I truly hope more and people take advantage of the wonderful services we have offered every single day, at least 6 times to our students, uh, another 6 times to our staff and families. So thank you again. And my question to Guruji, Guruji, what is your message to the world leaders about this very important aspect? I know you have spoken many times about the social emotional learning aspect, mental wellness. What is your message, and how do we sustain the work, and how do we amplify our work? Sometimes, it's discouraging, despite you bring so much to the people in community. Maybe they're not taking advantage of it, or time is not right. Of course, our work continues, but what will be your message, Guruji?
Yeah, what is needed now here is more research work. Research, when we present, though we have the experience, but when it is presented, academically, it will make a lot of sense to many people. Number one. Second is lack of awareness. People do not know. They don't read much. They don't write much. They are all engaged in their own little world. So parents and those guardians need to be educated also. This is very important. So though there are many findings in scientific arena through research, it takes a long time for them to translate to the society. It doesn't reach the society that fast. Here, a lot of scope for non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and all other organizations can play a big role. Social media influencers can all spread the word and bring to the awareness of people that, hey, look, you don't have to suffer. Here are ways that you can manage your emotions. Here are the methods that you can rise above these negative tendencies that you go through. Yeah.
Thank you, Kishore, and thank you to Guruji. I'd like to now introduce a wonderful woman from Brazil, and her name is Manuelita Brito, and she is the superintendent of education of the state of Bahia, and they're really getting ready right now to bring this work to all of their, starting with their school administrators and then their teachers and then their students in the state of Bahia, Brazil. I've been lucky enough to travel to Brazil about 7 or 8 times in the last couple of years. Things are very, they're very open and excited about this work. So please, Manuelita, if you could share with us your thoughts.
Oh, okay. Good morning, good evening. Thank you, Bill. Well, hello. I would like to thank you on behalf of Brazilian educators for inviting me to participate in this panel with Gurudev and other superintendents of education to share our experiences in this challenging moment. I speak to you from Brazil, as Bill said, and from Bahia, one of the 27 states of the Brazilian Federation, culturally very, very rich place with more than 15 million inhabitants. With 3 million children enrolled in public school, the state of Bahia is the main provider of education. Oh, our public education materials, video lessons, educational programming, teacher training, and meal assistance. Many students live with food insecurity, and schools provide their main meal of the day. They feel hungry many times. Data shows that at least 1 in 3 students do not have access to internet. In this context, excluding students that don't have internet from school activities would further deepen inequalities, so we did not immediately use technology to maintain classes. In spite of the difference of social realities, there is something in common that connects those of us in Bahia with elsewhere. In this moment of extreme change, we are surprised, caught off guard, and looking to discover what this new time offers. I know we are on a crossing, although we do not know what awaits us on the other side. I feel that the other shore demands more calm and more care with ourselves, with others, and with the planet. It requires expanding our social emotional skills, empathy, solidarity, and gaining more holistic view of the world. The state of Bahia has had a very positive results with Art of Living in working with its policy forces. In the coming months, as Bill said, we're going to start a project aimed to educators, and then with the students. We will build a network of girls, boys, men, and women more connected with themselves and better prepared to fulfill their life goals. One question arises at this moment, and I would like to hear Shiri talk about. In the face of new uncertainties, how to awaken motivation in educational communities and stay open to new ways of living that facilitate change. How to deal with the fear that the unknown brings to us and be connected to the possibilities that the post-crisis presents us. That's it. I'd like to thank you very, very much for the invitation and the attention of all of you. Thank you very much.
See, the breath, the connection of breath and emotions, as I said before, is very, very intricate and very delicate. See, when we are scared, when we have anxiety, the pattern of breath is specific. And when we are happy, the pattern of breath is again specific. So for almost every emotion, there is a specific breathing pattern. And when we educate them in different type of breathing exercises, the students are able to find the strength from inner strength, and so they feel more relaxed. They can, they can calm their mind quite quickly. These things happen. I think that is why this breathing and meditation, all these techniques will be of immense help. What we need to do is we need to encourage them to keep doing. Sometimes we have the tools, we may not be using it. So that little encouragement from the side of teachers or parents would help a lot. Yeah. Yes, Bill?
Yeah, thank you. I would like to ask Mr. Sunny Anand if he could speak next. We're going to change the order a little bit, and he's a pediatrician and professor at Stanford University who's very interested in studying the effects of these programs on the cortisol levels in young people and students. And Dr. Anand, if you could speak now, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for this opportunity. Thank you, Shri Gurudev, for your darshan and your and this conversation with you. I have practiced as a pediatrician for almost 40 years. And over the years, I have been very pained, very distressed by the emotional, state of of our children in the world. I see many children who come after attempting suicide or doing other reckless things. I see children who have been victimized by dating violence or gun violence or other kinds of things. And I really am inspired by the Sudarshan Kriya Yoga program that is running in very few schools, just a handful of schools in the Bay Area. So in this area, we have a suicide rates that are twice that of the rest of California or even the country. And, this is a very wealthy, well-to-do area in the country. And despite that, there is huge inequality and great deal of frustration in our children's lives. For example, in children who are 10 to 14 years old, the suicide rate has tripled 3 times higher just in the last 10, 11 years. And so in my laboratory, basically, we are looking at biomarkers for this chronic stress and social isolation that children may be experiencing. By taking a small sample of hair, which is painlessly taken, we don't pluck the hair, we just cut it close to the scalp. We can analyze the levels of cortisol, which gives us an idea of how long they've been experiencing this stress, even up to 6 months from the date of getting the hair sample. We also have other biomarkers by which we can measure social bonding or social isolation in these children. And now we are relating these biomarkers with other disease states, their susceptibility to cancer or chronic inflammation or other kinds of things. This is all from that same hair sample. So Gurudev, my question to you is is twofold. One, how can we expand this research to include many other schools, many other children in this? And the second question I have is, how can we change the model of education from a procedure-based or a discipline-based model to a relationship-based model of education, where there is genuine love and caring and compassion in the teachers for the students, and genuine respect and love for the teacher. So please guide us. All of humanity needs your guidance to try to inculcate this model of relationship-based teaching and education.
Yes, yes, Dr. Anand, it's a pleasure to talking to you. And let me congratulate you for all the pain you have taken to do a lot of research work and in this field. You know what you said, uh, that love and compassion is something that we need to be. We cannot make children grow up in a mechanical atmosphere. They need to be the human touch. And that human touch means human values need to be cultivated. A sense of brotherhood, friendship, friendliness need to be enhanced in an atmosphere. You know, we among the children program, we have 7 golden principles that we teach children. Make them take vow. In that we say, make one new friend every day. One of the vow is, every child should take a vow. I'll make one new friend every day. You know, a child has all these wonderful qualities. It just needs an opportunity to blossom. It just needs that little nurturing. So for this, we need to train the teachers as well as parents. So we have made 2 seminars for parents, Know Your Kids and Know Your Teens. This is 2 hours, that's a 4 hours workshop for both. It's just 2 hours for 2 days, and parents get to know quite a bit of how they can deal with the children, how to give more positive suggestions rather than giving them all the time negative suggestions. You know, the little brains get affected with negativity all the time at home. Similarly, in the classrooms, you know, how to work with everybody. So these are little games. We have created number of games, so children find it a lot of fun, you know, learning the principle through games. You see, young minds, the highest philosophies can be taught to them through games, which stays with them, like for compassion, you know, teamwork, caring for others, and celebrating the victory of other people. I'll just give you one example that one boy, long time ago, one boy came to me and he was looking very sad. I asked him, why are you sad? He said, because I lost the competition in my school. So I asked him, who won? He said, so and so won. I said, is he your friend? He said, yes, he's my good friend. Then I told him, you are sad because your friend won the game? He said, no. Would you like your friend to be sad? Suppose you win the competition. He said, no, I want them to be happy if I win. We should all celebrate. I said, see, in the games, you win or you make others win. So you should celebrate. You know, suddenly that boy started smiling. He joined the party. You know, a complete different atmosphere gets generated. So otherwise, even small things of getting less marks or losing a competition can all weigh so heavy on the little mind. As you said, that sense of belongingness, sense of sharing and caring has to be enhanced. And we have created 57 different type of courses according to the age group and places, class, all that. Keeping in mind, the aim is to bring out the best in every human being and bring out the human values of togetherness, of love and compassion. So, and definitely research work on these case studies would definitely help in bringing this to many more schools. Here in India, we have done a self-program in which 57,000 young people, engineering graduates, first year engineering students were given a 5-day program, and then you could see 85% of their energy level went up. 83% of them felt much more positive. Looking at this, the AICT, the government authority for engineering colleges, now they have made it as a part of induction program for all engineering students. So we had high suicidal rate in the engineering college. Now this has been quite beneficial in the last 6 months for students to come out of that depression or anxiety. So we can do the same sort of research in US and in Mexico and also in South America, Latin America too.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Guruji. We have one more speaker left, Richard Martinez. We're getting a little short of time, so just to be aware. But we look forward to hearing from you. You've been doing the program, I know, in Pomona for at least 10 years, and we'd love to hear what your experience has been and what you're looking forward to in the future. Thank you, Richard.
Bill, thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be amongst my colleagues, our research team in Stanford, and especially Shri. Thank you for having us as your guest. In Pomona Unified School District, we're in Los Angeles County in the eastern side of the county. Our organization is about 23,000. Our city is about 180,000 residents. And of those 23,000 kids, about 88% of them are impoverished. They're on the free and reduced lunch program. So they've been dealing with trauma and they've been dealing with issues way before COVID-19 hit, this pandemic. I look at the pandemic almost as an equalizer. It equalized the field because these young people were able to kind of share that pain and the poverty, and in this case, uncertainty, or wondering, is there any hope for a future? And one thing we do in Pomona is we instill hope. We provide an education. We ensure that our kids could dream it up on what the potential for the future could look like. And so this program was brought to me by a pediatrician, Sonny. I thought of you, and I thought of Dr. Agrawal. Pramila Agrawal brought this 10, 11 years back to me. It was called the YES program. And I think we heard that earlier. Now it's Sky. And so these students, and we thought, okay, we're going to implement this in a few schools, and we've done that well. We also created something in our town by community leaders, Compassionate Pomona, a compassionate city, a city of kindness, a city that practices restorative justice practices. And so these are things that we learned. And when we see the techniques that were learned for our kids, we thought adults could learn this too. So it was offered to their parents. And so our parents were able to benefit from training in our community. And from there, it went a little beyond because of this compassionate group saying we need to push this out. We need to bring this to our police department, to our community members. And so it was offered to the police department. Matter of fact, listening to Manuelita, your police department worked with our police department in training. They got to meet each other. So thank you very much for extending that country and your support. So we're really excited to see our police. But during this pandemic, our teachers, our counselors, our support staff within our organization, they embraced it because they, like our impoverished kids, felt what our kids in poverty were feeling. They said, we need to wrap our hands around something that empowers us, that we can use to ensure that we could control the emotions, the fears, the wonderings of what's going to happen in that future. And I heard, I love what Manuelita said on the other side, on the shore and the other side, we believe there's a lot of opportunity, and there could be so much better after this pandemic, and we're hopeful for that. So through the collective efforts of grants, of gifts, of individuals, district funding, we continue to expand this program. Dr. Roberta Perlman, my board member, who's watching this right now, listening, she was so excited. She has been pretty much the one that's drumming up the support, rallying the troops. Reverend Janet Chase, another one that leads a church in our community, Dr. Agarwal, and so many others have been here to support this effort. So I want to thank you for bringing this to us, because it truly does provide that hope, that future, the opportunity to dream. I wanted to ask you one question. Of course, that question that everyone's asking, can you come to Pomona? That's one. That's everyone's question. So we will be able to host you in Pomona, and it could be pretty significant. It's a great part of the world in the West Coast. And then the question I have for you is, what word would you provide